Hey, what's up, guys? Was about to sit down and cut through some footage and realized I haven't had coffee since lunch, so I'm just going to use that as an excuse to go brew myself some. So let's go. First thing I do is typically weigh out my coffee, so I'm going to decide on how much coffee I need to brew. I'm going to calculate how much water that's going to be, and I'm going to use my coffee to water brew ratio to figure out how much coffee I need. So a scoop, it has quite a bit of variance, but just investing even in a $25 scale can give you very precise measurements, which gives you the ability to have the same brew strength every single time. So getting a scale, that's a great first piece of equipment to buy to improve your coffee. I use mine every single time I make coffee. I weigh out my beans, I weigh out my water, and it is invaluable, and it is very, very affordable. My only point with water is 98% of what you're drinking in your coffee is going to be your water. So you may as well make it taste good and make it as clean as possible. So even just a carbon filter, like what you'll find in a Brita, is going to help to clean out some of those solids that are in coffee that you just, or in water that you just don't want in your coffee, you don't want in your water in general. So just starting with good, clean water is a great place to improve the quality of coffee. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse out my paper filter, and then I'm going to preheat the thermos that I'm going to be decanting the coffee into from my brewer. And that's just so that the coffee stays warm, it doesn't get a shock when it initially contacts this heavy metal that is kind of cool right now. It's really been sitting in the room temperature, so you want to get it warm-ish so that that coffee's not being affected by that sudden change in temperature right after brewing. Then rinsing the paper filter is just going to get rid of some of that paper, because this is only a 5-cup brewer, so the ratio of water to paper and that we have is actually a lot lower than what you would normally get in like a 12-cup, 8 or 12-cup brewer. So I like to rinse that filter just to get rid of some of that flavor. Okay, so the final step in all of this is going to be to grind the coffee. Buying whole bean coffee and grinding it at home just before you brew it is going to be the absolute best thing you can do to get the best cup of coffee at home. Investing in a grinder is a little more expensive. It carries as much cost as, say, a decent brewer does, but it's going to improve the taste of your coffee at home way more than almost anything else, with the exception of maybe a scale, which provides that ability to dial in a recipe and really get a good kind of consistent extraction, right? But that grinder is going to give you freshness in the coffee, and that is going to be invaluable because you're going to have a lot more aromatics. You're going to have a lot more natural occurring sweetness in the coffee, and that is going to create this harmonious, balanced, sweet cup of coffee that you're just going to love. The difference between pre-ground coffee and whole bean coffee that is freshly ground right before you brew it is huge, and you'll never forget when you start to realize the difference that it makes. Alright, so that is how I brew coffee. Thanks for joining me today on that. One thing I didn't note is I use a Bonavita brewer at home, and I absolutely love that brewer. I've had it for a number of years now. I use it every single time I brew at home, and it does such a great job of brewing coffee in 4 minutes, getting the water hot and keeping that coffee warm without scalding it or burning it on a hot plate. It's just a really nice home brewer. I use a 5-cup model. There is an 8-cup model available, which is the actual certified, SCA certified coffee brewer, and it is exceptional when you want to get a great cup of coffee at home. This is not an advertisement, and I am not sponsored by any of these brands. I just highly recommend them because I use them every day, and I wouldn't use them if they didn't do a good job. Thanks so much for joining me today and grabbing some coffee with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And check out links below for these products that I use for the scale, the grinder, and the coffee brewer that I use at home. And stay tuned. We'll have some more videos coming up real soon, I hope. I'm actually sitting down right now for real to cut and edit those, and hopefully I'll have them up to you and out very soon. Cheers, guys.